Good evening. I'm having some internet challenges. I'm not sure if it's on my end or your end, but I'm having some challenges. But
You're
I'm
having
here.
some challenges.
And good evening to all the loyal opposition.
Yes, sir. We're hearing you loud and clear. Dave
Thank you
said
very
he
much.
thought I was having some problems as well.
Okay.
So it might be something that is happening island wide. I'm not sure. Well, we just pray. Guys, say a prayer for us that we want to be able to get through this show tonight
Yes, before
and
March.
no problem. So keep us in your prayers. But Mr. Bob, you're on, and I trust you had a good day today.
Other than the heat, it was a good day.
I
It's
am
extremely
telling you.
hot today.
I couldn't bother with any jackets or anything tonight. It is too hot, and I sweat.
So
So
I'm hoping that persons are continuing to rehydrate because dehydration can be very challenging in terms of your health. So I'm
yes,
encouraging all those persons, even when you're at home and you're not in the sun, that you keep sipping your water or some kind of fluid to
hmm
make sure that you stay rehydrated.
yes, it's very hot, very hot.
Yes,
Um, but and I'm happy that you had a great day.
yes,
And
thank you.
we were just looking at the March for Integrity. And that March for Integrity, Mr. Babb, is going to come off on the 27th of September at 10 a.m. And I hope you're going to be there. We love when you're there.
Yes,
So you'll be in the island, and you'll be there.
I'll be home. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, so we're going to march for integrity, because I was saying to our viewers that
Mhm.
on it was the 17th of was it November
Mhm.
2017,
Yes.
17th of November 2017. And I think Dave is going to find that article for us, where we were promised that on day one on day one of this government, that they are going to start working on the integrity in public life bill. And they didn't start on it until I think it was going into the second, when they got into the second term. Somebody can
Something 2023,
right,
2022.
20
Yes.
2022 2023.
2023, yes.
And up until now it's not law. But I know that many of you out there can count how many laws were passed. How many of you can write down how many laws were passed, how many bills were passed and made into law since they came into office, but not this one? Not this one. And so we want David's looking for it again to put it up. But
But
what are your thoughts on that?
when Marcia think that they're going to sit down and make law against themselves to implicate themselves, they're
Yeah.
not.
As Vihoi says, we expect integrity from people who don't have integrity.
And Vihoy is right on because when they look at themselves and they see that could pose a problem for a number of them. So that is why you have the delay, and they're still working on it. But in the meantime, they see some faults in the masses, and they want to bring legislation to keep us in line while they run free and continue to do as they like. But I'm saying to the people of Barbados that we have to demand from our leaders and those persons who we place our confidence to lead the affairs of this country, that we need to have the integrity and public life bill passed as a matter of urgency, and don't try to put any more bills, whatever they are, peeping, cybercrime, whatever they are. Stop what you're doing against the masses and take a good look at yourselves.
Yes. And I really think that the people need to put a demand on the government. The people need to put a demand on this administration. The people need to say
Yes.
to them that, listen, we don't want you starting any bills, no more bills to be passed unless this integrity in public life bill is passed. And you can't come to us with an election until it is passed, because we know we're not stupid. We know why you don't want to pass it, And so this march, and the name of it came from one of the viewers. And that's the thing with us. We don't do a one woman show here. This is
Yeah.
something that we do together. All day you are sending me stuff that we can do do this evening, and we work on it together, right? And I think Dave has it here. This is the Barbados Labour Party promises to enact integrity legislation from day one if elected. Now, if they had enact this integrity legislation from day one, what are some of the things you think this would cover, Mr. Babb?
It will cover they certainly will have to look at their assets, the assets that which they have, declare their assets, and the other incomes that they have. But I'm saying that this they want, if elected, this promise. Remember, they march, they use their platform to give the impression that there was a lot of underhand things being done by the previous government. So at that point in time, when they were trying to get elected, it seems like the right thing to say and not necessarily what they were going to do,
Mm-hmm.
because you had to maintain what the campaign pitch. So this was a campaign pitch and not necessarily what really was what that a promise that they were going to keep, because they went out there and they tried to tell Barbados that the Frondestro administration was the worst thing, public and worst government in terms of integrity. But then you turn around and you heard within 2 years the Minister of Finance as part of your whole finance pitch. But I think it was a campaign pitch, and we have to be careful that we do not hold on to promises, campaign pitches as promises of action to be taken at a later date. And I think it was one of those.
This is one, and it's a major one, because so Brett is saying that with this legislation, if it comes into place, Barbados, it becomes law that all political candidates running for office would have to declare their assets,
Yes.
their income, right? We will have to know what's the source of their income, or any loans that they have, any investments. And I think this is what they're running from. They don't want us to know, because sometimes these people go into office and they leave with a lot more than they went in with. And so they don't want us to know that what has happened, and we're going to ask the hard questions. Yes.
It even allowed one of their former candidates to pen a calypso. He wanted a plantation. They want it at any cost.
Hmm.
I
Yes.
remember, yes, that song by John King. And they know exactly what we were talking about.
Yes. Yes. As you said, at any cost. And so this is why we are doing a march for integrity. How many of you believe that this march is important? I want to see you use thanks, Dave. Use the comment section. How many of you believe that this is a very important march? We're going to make some noise for integrity. Who making some noise for integrity on Saturday, September 27th at 10 a.m.? Is this worth it, guys? Is this important? Let me see your comments, please. Is this something that is important? Freedom is voice activated. I believe that when we go up there, you know what? We went up there and we were screaming out Section 52B. And by the evening, of course, we had Mr. Thorne, who does an amazing job. Thank God for Mr. Thorne, amazing job that he does in Parliament, along with the two opposition senators. They are fabulous. They work so hard for Barbados, only three of them. And they do such a great job, along with Corey Greenwich. Is that his name? Mr. Greenwich, the attorney Greenwich, right? A great job. And they educated us, and along with this show, the DLP TV, and we all ganged up on that. And we raised our voices on that. And I'm saying, let us come together again, Barbados. Let's go. You know what? Michelle is telling us, and by the way, that song you heard, written by Michelle, okay? She's really, really talented. Michelle says, guess what? Look at this, Mr. Babb. It's been 2,862 days since the BLP made day one declaration, made that promise in the paper. 2,862 days.
Mhm.
The bill is 2,862 days. The law, that integrity legislation, is 2,860 2 days late. How much later are we going to wait, Barbados? How many more days are we going to wait for this integrity legislation? It just needs to be proclaimed into law. We are now moving, and which is normally done through the president, right? And we're changing presidents, and it's still not done.
Yeah, we're gonna install. We have the installation of a new president, and still nothing has been, no approaches, no public announcement, and nothing has been done in terms of moving towards the passing of the integrity legislation. So they are not serious. They're not serious about it.
Not at all, not at all, not at all. And so that is one of the things, and the major one, that we are putting a stake in the ground, and we're saying, no, 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 you're not going to get away with this. None of the parties, none of them, you're not getting away with it. Okay. Now we're also going to be marching about the car rental levy, which we're going to go into that a little bit tonight. Okay, to pull back on that, because the start date for that is coming up, and we are saying to them, pull back on that and give everybody an ease. All right. Then there is, let me move this let me move that, the tourism reform bill. Mr. Babb, that is a bill that we're gonna look at that a little later tonight.
Yes, yes.
So what that is all about, and we're just saying, end economic oppression and corruption. We went today. Michelle and I, we went down to Swan Street, and so we're going to take a look at that. Dave, if you can get that ready. So, folks, get your t-shirts. Those of you who have your t-shirt, wash your shirt. Okay, get your t-shirt washed. Everybody, get your whistles. How many of you can find your whistles? Dave, there's something on the poster, Dave. I'm not sure. It's like a drop down thing on the poster. How many of you know where your whistles are? How many of you know where your whistles are? Don't lose your whistles. You need to bring your whistles. Your t-shirt. Listen. Yes. Judith Ann said she watched her shirt, her t-shirt as well. Okay, Hurricane, you got your whistle? Yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Uh-huh. Anybody else? What about you have your whistle? You have your whistle? You have your shirts? Okay. Somebody's telling me that my audio is choppy. Is my audio choppy, guys? Let me know what's going on. Are you hearing me clear? Judith Ann, are you hearing me clear? Judith Jelks, Hurricane Writer, can you hear me? Okay, audio is good. Okay. Okay, they're saying it's clear. Must be Mr. Babb might be having some challenges there. Okay, guys. Okay, whoa, man. We're gonna go through. We're gonna go through. Okay. Okay, we're going through tonight. Okay. All right. So, folks, did you write down the date for the march? Everybody, did you write down the date for the march? September 27th, 10 a.m. next week, Saturday. Get your shirt washed and your whistle ready. And we're getting some, listen, you know what, Mr. Babb? We're trying to get some noise makers, okay?
Some noisemakers. Make
Yes,
noise.
yes, we're getting some
Yes.
noise makers, okay, to make some noise on this. Okay, all right, wonderful, wonderful, Cleveland. Okay, okay. So Tony Paris says, I don't have a shirt or whistle. We are trying to get 20 more shirts. All right, but listen, you have a shirt, Mr. Babb?
I need to collect mine.
Well, well, it's
I missed the March last week because it was the last March really because it wasn't well at all. Came back and caught the flu, but I'm
well,
not gonna miss this one.
guess what? I'm telling you that
And
shirt.
I have three whistles, not even one.
You have three. Well, that shirt is gone because everybody was grabbing the shirts. The shirt's gone, but
I
we
will wear a white
ordered.
shirt.
Yeah, we're ordering 20 more shirts. And so what we're saying to people, the first 20, you come and you will get a shirt. If you are in the first 20, you did not, you no, it's not a new shirt. You must have, this is the first shirt that you're going to get. Because if you got one last time, we're not going to give you another one. All right, you're to get your shirt prepared, wash your shirt in the week, wear your shirt, bring back your whistle. It's your personal whistle, right? And like school, you're responsible for your whistle. So you bring your whistle. You can't come without the whistle because we got to make noise concerning integrity. Yes. And so bring your whistle and bring the shirt if you have one. If you don't have a shirt, you try to get there early. We're normally down there from 9 o'clock. We're there. So get there early. First come, first served, and you get a shirt. Okay, get a shirt. So please come. Somebody says, Lindsay says she has her shirt and whistle. Yes, so Steve Moore, you've been asking this question all the time. So Steve, let me hope that we can settle this. So Steve, good night. How are you doing? He's in the UK. And he might not understand. He's asking, why are we marching on Saturday and not weekdays when they are in Parliament? Steve, so what happens is that people have to work, all right? And you can't leave work to go to a march, a protest march. You will lose your job, all right? That's not how it works here. And so that would have to be a march put on by the unions. Let's be real. So the nurses, they did a march with Caswell years ago, and that was in the weekday. Remember, that was the nurses in the weekday. You can't have a weekday march unless you're going to have the the union is putting on that march, etc. Okay, so basically, that's why we're marching on a Saturday. And we do stop at the parliament and do the national anthem and make speeches at the parliament and so on. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. Great. So that's the march, guys. That's the march. We needed to come out. We also needed to bring your donations to help. That's the way we do it. We do it together. Guess what, Mr. Babb? We're going to have the big truck. You weren't there for the big truck.
I lost your voice just now.
Right. I was saying you weren't there for the big truck, right?
No, I missed. That was the one I missed. Yes,
Yes.
I
You
can
weren't.
sit here. I can sit here now.
Yes. You see that big truck? That truck is a big Kaduman truck, and the people respond to the truck. They dance and they connect with all of that. And we want to thank the owner of that truck. They're going to give us at a nice discounted rate. But you know what he says? You've got to have 4 marches in a row, because when I stack the truck, if I have to pull it down each time, it's more money, right? So we're going to have 4 marches in a row. 4 Saturdays in a row. We ain't stopping for 4. Let me tell you, they better make law that integrity bill. We're not stopping. Okay? We will not be stopping. All right. And so, guys, I know we spent a little time on this. Yeah, that we spent a little time on this, but that is important. Okay. All right. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Dave. Well, the first thing that well, the next thing that we want to talk about, Mr. Bob, is Swan Street.
Yeah,
And you're still having challenges.
yeah, I heard. Well, you keep going. I'll pick up.
You're picking up. Okay,
Yeah,
it's probably delayed. It's a delay you're hearing.
yes, yes. But you keep going. I will follow.
Yes. Okay.
Hmm.
Guys, say a prayer for us out there.
Yeah.
All right. So we went to do a mic on the move, which I have not done one in a long time because my camera was had a problem with it, so we couldn't use the camera. Got a new camera, which because you brought it in, the new camera. So we went to our first mic on the move with the camera today. And when we got to Swan Street, everything seemed normal, and we were talking to the vendors there on Swan Street. And then, to our surprise, here comes a huge fire truck. A huge fire truck started to come down at Swan Street with all the vendors and the people buying their produce and whatever was being sold there on Swan Street. It's Friday, so it's a busy time there on Swan Street. But before we show you the video, I just want to preface this by saying this, that in no way am I saying that the fire officers, the fire what do I need? Is what's it call it? The fire officers. I'm saying the wrong thing. There's a name. That they should not be doing their job. It's
Agree.
where it's yes. What you're saying something, Mr. Bob?
I say, yeah. You're not saying that they're not should not be allowed to do their job.
Correct.
I agree with that. Yes.
Yes. Safety is important. What we are saying is this. So if anybody is watching from the fire department, please hear us clearly. Hear clearly what we're saying. What we're saying is this. Please, whatever you're doing, we're kindly asking you to work with the vendors who are there. We're asking the police and the fire department to work with the vendors. When I was there today, Mr. Bob, the vendors are saying we are willing to work with the fire department.
Hmm.
But a lot of them are scared. A lot of them are worried. They are worried that they feel that something is up. They feel that there is something amiss. They feel that they are going to be moved. And so tonight, it's an appeal. I'm asking for the authorities to give these vendors the assurance that they're going to work with them. Majority of the people are saying on Swan Street that they've never. Some people are there from 20 something years, 30 something years. They've never seen a fire truck in Swan Street. Let me repeat. They have never seen a fire truck try to come through Swan Street. They are concerned. They said to us that they were told by others on the street there that they're going to make the place into a mall. And they're concerned that if it becomes a mall, will they be part of it? Those of you who are in charge, those of you who have leadership in this area, can you please give the assurance to the vendors that this is not an activity to prove that the fire truck cannot come through, and then okay, then we will have to move the vendors. Do you see what I'm saying? But we're not against the fire. We need the fire department, and we need them to do what they have to do. Any thoughts, Mr. Bob? Can you hear still?
Yes, I can hear. sketchy, but I can understand what you're saying about the vendors. And if I was a vendor in Swan Street, and I saw an article or read of an article or heard of an article which says that gives the impression that we are more or less in a position which can be a fire hazard after all of these years, and then on a particular day when it is crowded, you attempt to bring to a truck, I would become suspicious. But just remember that in an effort to clean up the highway, the vendors from certain places were moved. So I will not be surprised if this attempt will now be is on the way up to move, if not all of the vendors off of Swan Street, because here they are in a position where if there is a fire, we cannot. No, all of a sudden, if there is some kind of fire or that disaster, we cannot have easy access or through this street. This the same government who moved the fire service out of town, fire station out of town?
Very good point. Keep going, you hot. Keep going, Mr. Babb.
Is this the same government where it was strategically located that they can have access, easy access around town? That this, if there's a fire, no, they have to come from further away in an emergency situation. So now you're saying to get the emergency that these vendors may delay what kind of the work that you can do to minimize any type of disaster. And the vendors have a right to be concerned. They have a right, and sometimes if you're going to move us, where are you going to move us? Because that Swan Street area it has a lot of businesses which cater to many of the ordinary citizens in terms of prices, and that is why vendors are there. Because if you see my produce, then you're easy. I'm in a position where I'm easily accessible, and then something catch there. Oh, you have the position, but if you're going to move them, then you're going to move them, and where are you going to move them to? Because I think that is what the next thing the discussion is going to approach.
Yes, I think so. Is where and if they're going to move them, and that's why I say I don't want to give a false alarm, but I can tell you that the sentiment there on the ground is that they're scared about that. Is it important that the fire truck is able to be there if there is there's a fire? Of course, we would be irresponsible if we are not for fire safety. But I'm just saying, let us please, for once.
But if you're dealing with safety and fire and any disaster, the concern about two and exit, that there are additional exits in all buildings, have that been addressed?
No, I saw it today and I spoke with some of the people, and that's what some of the vendors they were quietly speaking to me because a lot of them did not want to speak on camera. A
Right.
lot of them are non-nationals. They're not Barbadians. You have the Guyanese, you have Jamaicans, you have Vincentians, and so on. And even some of the Barbadians did not want to speak on camera, but they are saying a lot of these stores they only go you
It's
go.
one way in and one way out, and that is the first thing, one of the first things you need to address. If you're talking about having the vendors strategically located where they do not present a hazard, as they're calling it, if they're parked in the road, if set up in the road, in the middle of the road, but they change traffic. Remember, traffic used to go through Swan Street
I don't
at
know
one
that.
time.
I don't know that.
Yes, I think some of the older ones, traffic used to drive up through Swan Street, but they recognize, the government didn't recognize that it has now become a very active area for shopping. So no traffic travels, if I say north to south in Swan Street anymore. It only passes over the lights and keep going up to the library. But there was a time when you can come and drive up or down Swan Street, I believe. I'm not remember exactly which direction, but traffic used to go through there.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But there's a question here. And it's a very important question. Are there any hydrants on the same Swan Street? We didn't get a chance. Michelle and I were there. I don't know if Michelle can message me and tell me if she's seen any hydrants on there. If you work on Swan Street, or you're selling on Swan Street, are there hydrants there?